Will Jungkook embark on his solo world tour? Or is this just a sign of the beginning of a new era for BTS, with a secret HYBE project that even insiders don't know about yet? And if so, how big was this tour to be dubbed the biggest in BTS history? This is the moment when the global entertainment industry is again holding its breath. Because if one thing's for sure, Jungkook's every move always means a big change. There is something being prepared behind the huge curtain of HYBE. Some sources call it Operation Golden Route, a project that is touted to change the standard of Korean artists' world tours. Some even refer to it as Jungkook's sweet revenge, not on anyone, but on himself. Because behind all the success, there is an insatiable thirst, a desire to prove that he can lead the global stage, not just as part of BTS, but as himself. And interestingly, this rumor appeared amid major changes in the internal HYBE. Rumors about the reorganization of the production team, the rearrangement of the artist's schedule, even extreme measures to focus resources only on world-class projects. If it's true that Jungkook is preparing a world tour, it won't just be a concert, it will be the HYBE Lighthouse project that determines the company's future. Here lies the tension. Fans began to associate hidden codes from each of Jungkook's posts on Weverse. An earth emoji, a cryptic caption, "See you soon," and a mysterious tone in his recent interview that says, "I want to go everywhere again, with bigger energy." Everything seems to lead to one conclusion: a world tour is being prepared. But it's not just any tour. It is rumored to be a tour with a scale of technology, concept, and production that even surpasses Love Yourself and Map of the Soul. Even some of the technicians who used to be involved in Beyoncé and The Weeknd's tours are rumored to have signed with HYBE for a new project whose name is still being disguised. And who is best suited to become the main face of such a large project, if not Jungkook the Golden Maknae, who has now transformed into a world-class soloist with a transcontinental fanbase? But why now? Why is it that after so many rumors about hiatus, conscription, and HYBE's shift in focus, they are actually preparing something of this magnitude? The answer may be simple: time. Jungkook is already at the point where the whole world is ready to welcome him again. From Coachella to Calvin Klein, her every step leaves a trail that proves she's not just a Korean idol, but a global icon connecting Eastern and Western cultures. The world is ready, HYBE is ready, and maybe even Jungkook is ready. And it is time that we dissect one by one the great signs behind these rumors. Because behind every little step, there is crazy planning that could have marked a new era of BTS. An era in which Jungkook presided over the biggest stage HYBE has ever created. Rumors are circulating that HYBE is building something much more ambitious. Asia's highest tech concert production center. This is where, supposedly, the blueprint for Jungkook's world tour is being drawn up. Unmitigated, HYBE recruited more than 300 experts, ranging from Japanese stage designers who had worked on Arashi tours to British sound engineers who had handled Coldplay. Their goal is only one: to create a concert experience that no human has ever felt before. The stage can come alive, change according to the story, and even interact with the audience through a special application that HYBE Labs is developing. Imagine, you come to Jungkook's concert, turn on your app, and suddenly the color of the light on your bracelet changes in sync with Jungkook's heartbeat on stage, all connected in real time. This is not a dream. It's a new form of immersive concert experience that he says will be at the heart of the Golden World Tour project. Not only that, rumors say that HYBE is exploring a collaboration with the visual team from Avatar, yes, the film by James Cameron, to bring the hologram effect to life on stage, allowing Jungkook to interact with versions of his past in the form of 3D projections. Meanwhile, in terms of business, HYBE also collaborated with global infrastructure companies to support this tour. Their last quarter's financial report even showed a significant increase in the global touring investment sector, a code that clearly points to giant projects. Many industry analysts believe that this is HYBE's real move to secure their position in the global market after years of uncertainty due to the conscription of BTS members. Jungkook was made the spearhead because he had a unique balance between international appeal and deep fandom loyalty. In other words, if anyone can bridge BTS's global void, it's only Jungkook. However, a project of this magnitude is also full of risks. The scale of investment reached hundreds of millions of dollars, and the public pressure was tremendous. But what is interesting, HYBE does not seem to be afraid, because they know, in the modern entertainment world, one successful global tour can change the course of history. And perhaps this is their biggest bet so far. Think of this tour like Love Yourself 2, but on a scale that is 10 times more grandiose. If it is true that the Golden World Tour will be held next year, then HYBE will have less than a year to prepare everything: the stage, sets, promotions, and a digital support system. Behind the scenes, dozens of logistics trucks, hundreds of technicians, and thousands of staff will move like a huge orchestra under the command of one name, Jungkook. Every detail, from the lighting to the background video, will pass through his hands. Because, as Jungkook once said in the documentary Golden Days, "If I'm standing on stage, I want to know all the things that made that moment happen." Those words have now become the core tenet of HYBE's production team. They're not just setting up a tour, they're creating a new world, Jungkook's world. And perhaps this is the reason why many within the industry refer to this project as the HYBE Renaissance. There are interesting stories that are not widely known to the public. Behind the preparations for this tour, Jungkook has formed a small secret team since last year, a team he calls by the codename Golden Unit. The team consists of several of his confidants, choreographer, music producer, and visual director who used to work on Seven and Standing Next to You projects. They worked quietly, moving from studio to studio in Seoul, Tokyo, and Los Angeles without leaving a trace of the public. In each session, Jungkook is said to always carry a black leather notebook containing stage sketches, choreography ideas, and even lighting concepts for each song. An insider who has worked with him said, "He doesn't just want to perform, he wants to control the entire atmosphere, from the sound of his steps on stage to the time the light seconds change during the chorus." There we can see that Jungkook is no longer just a singer or a performer. He's already developed into a full-fledged art director, someone who understands that concerts are not just entertainment, but a collective emotional experience. Every little element he designed had a personal meaning. For example, in the initial concept of the tour, there was a segment titled Dream Sequence, where Jungkook would perform solo on a circular stage, surrounded by thousands of tiny star-like lights, while on the big screen appeared a visual snippet of his career journey from No More Dream to Golden. It's not nostalgia, but a celebration of the long journey that ultimately led him to stand alone on the world's biggest stage. However, interestingly, Jungkook doesn't want this tour to be just about him. In one of the meetings with the team, he said, "This should be about us, all of us who've been part of this story." As such, it is reported that the tour will also include a special tribute segment for BTS. A tribute moment that reminds the world that even though they are now walking their respective paths, their roots remain the same. That's where her emotional strength lies. Fans will not only come to see Jungkook, but to experience the history of BTS in an unprecedented format. And this is the reason why HYBE willingly poured huge funds, because they knew that few artists in the world could sell not just concert tickets, but collective emotions across generations. Analysts of the global music industry even began to compare this project with such legendary tours as Michael Jackson's Dangerous Tour or Beyoncé's Renaissance World Tour. But HYBE seems to want more than that. They wanted to create the golden standard, a new benchmark for the modern concert industry. Each production decision is designed to create an unforgettable impression. Reportedly, the tour logistics team will be using a private cargo plane with a Golden Universe-themed design, complete with Jungkook's logo on the side of the plane, something no K-pop artist has done before. And when all this is finally announced later, the world will know one thing. Jungkook is not just a singer from BTS. He is a symbol of the rise of a new era of global entertainment. An era where the boundaries between music, technology, and human emotions are melting into one giant stage. An era in which the voice of a young boy from Busan could shake the entire planet again and again and again. In recent months, insiders in the Korean music industry have come up with a term that continues to resonate: Project Golden Route. No one knows for sure what that means. But rumors say the project is HYBE's secret global strategy that makes Jungkook the main axis of expansion into the world market after the military service of BTS members. The name Golden Route itself is taken from two meanings: golden, which clearly refers to Jungkook, and route, which symbolizes a global journey that will open up new paths for Korean music. And behind the scenes, the project involves not only HYBE's music department, but also its technology, AI, fashion, and even international real estate divisions. Yes, just imagine HYBE is now not just an entertainment company, but has moved like a global conglomerate that has plans to unite concerts, fashion, and technology on one giant platform that will be centered on Jungkook's figure. According to internal reports leaked to the Japanese media, the first phase of the project dates back to early 2024, when HYBE signed exclusive contracts with several AR technology companies from the United States. The goal is to present a mixed reality concert system that will be used in every major city on Jungkook's world tour. The system allows spectators who can't be in person at the stadium to still watch a real-time version of the concert via AR devices and headsets that sync with the stage's original sound system. In other words, this tour will take place in the real world and the digital world at once, two dimensions that will merge in one time. No wonder many began to call this project the future of performance. But what is even more surprising, HYBE has already prepared a long-term roadmap of this project until 2030. In the second phase, Jungkook will be the main face of HYBE's internal streaming platform called Stage 1, a global distribution system that will combine live concerts, documentaries, and fan-exclusive content in one digital ecosystem. And that said, the platform's first announcement will be right at the end of Jungkook's opening concert of his world tour. All this makes the public even more convinced. The Golden Route is not just a tour, but a new era that puts Jungkook at the center of the world of digital entertainment. But behind all these grandiose plans, a big question also arises. How can HYBE be sure of placing a bet of this size on one figure? The answer is simple but profound, because Jungkook is not just an artist, but a cross-generational phenomenon that successfully brings together audiences from different countries, ages, and cultural backgrounds. No other Asian artist today has such a high level of social relevance as him on global platforms, especially in the United States and Europe. When Jungkook released Seven, it broke all boundaries of the Asian market and became one of the most successful K-pop songs in Billboard history. And now, HYBE plans to repeat that formula not with a single, but with a global experience that will show Jungkook who he really is in a larger dimension than just music. Financial analysts began to note signs that HYBE had prepared an investment fund of up to $250 million for this project, most of which came from partnerships with American and Japanese companies. In fact, some rumors call one of its main sponsors a global brand of which Jungkook is an ambassador, Calvin Klein. And if true, then this will be the first time in the history of the world concert a fashion brand became a co-producer of a global music tour. HYBE himself never confirmed, but if this happens, then the synergy between the brand, music, and visuals that will be created in this tour can give birth to a new cultural phenomenon. Imagine a concert where Jungkook's outfit changes in real time, following every country he visits, not just a stage costume, but a cultural statement. From Tokyo's denim, New York's leather, to Seoul's modern hanbok, each stage will be a living gallery of style, identity, and globalization. And in the midst of it all, Jungkook stands as the center of gravity, the figure who holds it all together with one simple phrase he once said on Weverse: "Music connects us, no matter where we are." A sentence that now feels like the unofficial manifesto of the Golden Route project. Because it's no longer just a world tour, it's a spiritual journey of the global music industry, led by one young boy from Busan who once dreamed of just wanting to sing in front of a crowd. Now, she will be singing in front of the whole world, literally and digitally, under one golden light, whose name is the Golden Route. The world knows him as Golden Maknae, the perfect youngest of BTS. But those who follow his career more closely know that Jungkook is not just a talented singer. He was a thinker, a designer, and now a driving force in the new direction of the music industry. In recent years, Jungkook has shown that he doesn't just go with the flow, but creates his own. From his solo projects, he has shown an extraordinary sensitivity to the global market, how he brings together Western rhythms and Eastern melodies without losing identity. He not only studied music, he watches the world. It knows when trends change, it knows when the public is bored, and it knows when it's time to give something new. That is why HYBE entrusted him with a project as big as the Golden Route. Jungkook is not only a symbol of success, but a symbol of transition. When the first K-pop generation built the stage, it was Jungkook's generation that would break its limits. In every interview, he often looks calm, but behind that calmness, there is a mind that continues to work. People who have worked with him know how detailed Jungkook is. He could discuss the direction of the camera for a small shot in a 2-hour music video, or debate the stage lighting simply because he wanted a livelier atmosphere. It's not just perfectionism, it's a vision. In the digital age, experience is everything. Fans no longer just watch concerts, but want to feel them. And Jungkook seems to have grasped the concept long before many other artists. That's why he pushed HYBE to create a concert format that is interactive, immersive, and two-way. On stage later, the audience not only watched Jungkook, but became part of the narrative he created. Every song has an emotional theme, every transition has a meaning, and every moment has a connection. It is no longer just a show, but a collective inner journey. This is where Jungkook differs from other global artists. He doesn't just dazzle, he binds. And maybe this is the reason why the world always comes back to him. No matter how many times BTS goes on hiatus, how many new artists come out. Jungkook is already a bigger symbol of music. He is a reflection of a generation that grew up with change. Now, with a world tour project billed as the biggest in BTS history, he's about to close that circle. From a teenager dreaming of becoming a singer to a man leading the next global wave. HYBE might call it a project. The world might call it a revolution. But for Jungkook, it's just another way to sing the same song, a song about dreams, dedication, and the courage to go further, even when all eyes are on him. Because if the world waits, Jungkook is ready to answer.